Welcome to The American Rancher. I'm Pam Minnick. Today's show is an informative program on the science of DNA-based technology with one of our nation's finest companies. Ty McClary joins us on the program, and he's going to talk with us about Neogen's Igenity genetic testing. More and more of today's stockmen are reaping the benefits in the breeding and selection of their cattle through genomic enhanced EPDs. Later on, we'll meet Dr. Stewart Bauck of Neogen, who will give us his thoughts on the subject and bring you what will be a good science-driven program in this episode of The American Rancher. We're glad you joined us, and we'll get started with Ty McClary in just a moment. Stay tuned. Welcome back to The American Rancher. We're bringing you a technology-based program today from Neogen, and we think it'll stir your thoughts. In a nutshell, what Igenity testing does is improve upon EPDs with genetic testing. EPDs are a basic estimate of genetic merit used to compare the genetic potential of animals of the same breed. As our friend Ty McClary will explain, adding Igenity testing to this creates an improved genomic enhanced EPD.
Hello, I'm Ty McClary. Since 2003, Igenity has worked with countless cattle breed associations and seed stock and commercial cattlemen around the world to use the latest DNA technology to increase herd profitability. Igenity has used the latest scientific advancements developed in the laboratory to advance many aspects of the science of livestock production in the field, including such critical elements as selecting the best bulls and replacement heifers for the next calf crop. Yet with all the success Igenity has had, many cattlemen they meet remain unfamiliar with how DNA-based technology can help increase herd profitability, what is done at the ranch level to perform DNA testing, what type of test results they can expect, and importantly, what those results can mean to their day-to-day operations. So today, I would like to take a few minutes to answer those questions for you. If this presentation leaves a question or two unanswered, please feel free to contact Igenity at any time. In a nutshell, what Igenity does is improve upon EPDs, or expected progeny differences. With genetic testing, EPDs are basically an estimate of an animal's genetic merit and are good tools to use to compare the genetic potential of animals of the same breed. A calf's EPD is based on its own performance, as well as its sire and dam and members of its close family. Adding Igenity's genetic testing to an animal's EPD creates an improved genomic enhanced EPD. Let me explain with a seed stock example. Seed stock producers publish the EPDs of their bulls in their sale catalogs, so their commercial customers know exactly what they are buying from them. That information is really useful, but bulls that are full brothers with the same sire and dam can look very similar, yet have a very different genetic potential. Igenity's DNA test adds information about an animal's true genetic merit. Plus, from that single sample, you can get a horn poll test, a coat color, or homozygous black test, and parentage done for registration purposes. Studies have shown that a simple hair sample provides the same accuracy of prediction on a bull's EPD as would evaluating up to 8 of his progeny. Just imagine, DNA from tail hair provides the same EPD accuracy as growing the bulls to weaning, feeding him over the winter, taking an ultrasound, breeding him to heifers, growing their calves, and capturing the carcass data. That's 3 years and thousands of dollars of feed cost, not to mention the cost of allowing an inferior bull to breed 3 different calf crops. Anything you can do to reduce the risk of making a mistake with a bull is worth it. an analysis done at Kansas State University looked at the impact of always selecting bulls with a superior DNA profile and what impact that has on the overall genetic merit of the herd versus selecting inferior bulls by chance. The impact multiplies pretty quickly in the herd. Igenity offers a similar benefit when selecting replacement heifers. For about $20, the Igenity Heifer Replacement Program uses hair follicles to produce DNA test results that provide information on a heifer's potential in 5 key traits. Those traits are calving ease, fertility or stability, average daily gain, carcass marbling, and carcass tenderness. Igenity has a slightly more efficient option that gives all of those traits and also scores for yield grade, ribeye area, back fat, heifer pregnancy, docility, and feed efficiency or residual feed intake. Here's what Igenity suggests when choosing replacement heifers. Start with a visual appraisal. A good eye can still eliminate many heifers. Heifers should be straight across the top with good bone structure and other phenotypic measurements. Take your pool of available heifers and remove those you don't want based on physical appraisal, or if you know something about the dam that you don't like. Then collect DNA samples from those left in the pen. So let's say you cull 40% based on phenotypic observation and test the other 60%. You can use the DNA profile results to identify the top heifers from the 60% to keep as replacements. If it's at weaning time, you can keep them in a separate pasture and give them a head start with a little extra nutrition. You can sell the remaining heifers. Let me show you what the results look like. The result for each trait is scored 1 to 10 for each animal. For your breed averages are available to see how those heifers compare to the overall breed average, as well as how they compare to their sisters. Obviously, some trait scores might not be as high as you would like to start with, but as you continue to select each year, they will get better. You can evaluate each animal's results one at a time or use a free simple software program from Igenity to evaluate several animals at a time. Here's an example of what you'll receive in the mail or online. As you can see, each animal has a score, and then there's a weighted average on one side. The trait measurements have been determined from the genotypes of thousands of animals. Igenity, along with other groups it works with, have looked for the correlations between bad traits and genetic profile to exclude those animals. Igenity is part of the largest animal genetics laboratory in the U.S. and certainly one of the largest anywhere in the world. They do the DNA testing, including parentage work for Angus, Gelbvieh, Limousin, Charolais, Hereford, Simmental, and a number of other key beef breed associations. Let me explain about how the 5 traits that are part of the replacement heifer program. First of all, maternal calving ease is the likelihood of a particular heifer having an unassisted birth. Since calving ease affects calf survival and the ability of the heifer to cycle and become pregnant again in the next calving season, calving ease is a critical trait. Each point of the Igenity score is equivalent to 1% in unassisted births in a group of heifers. The cost of keeping a heifer for 9 months from pregnancy to calving is close to $500. If you lose just one calf, you're out that $500. At $20 a head, you could test 25 heifers and break even with that testing cost if you just culled out one heifer that was going to have difficulty in calving. If that heifer dies calving, you're out the $500 plus the replacement cost of a new heifer, say another $1,200 or even more. Another important trait is stayability. The likelihood a heifer will remain in the herd until she's at least 6 years old compared to the breed average or other heifers you test. In this example, the heifer scored 8 as compared to another that scored just 3. Each point here equates to about a 2% greater likelihood of that heifer remaining to age 6. So the difference between 3 and 8 is 5 multiplied by 2 says that this heifer has a 10% greater likelihood to meet your stability goal. With good replacement heifers today costing more than $1,200 a piece, keeping 10 heifers just one more year is worth about $12,000 in saved replacement cost.
Igenity is part of the largest animal genetics laboratory in the U.S. and certainly one of the largest anywhere in the world. They do the DNA testing, including parentage work for Angus, Gelbvieh, Limousin, Charolais, Hereford, Simmental, and a number of other key beef breed associations. You're watching The American Rancher. Stay with us. Welcome back to The American Rancher. We've learned that genomic enhanced EPDs can be a valuable tool for assessing breeding decisions in a number of ways. Picking replacements in particular is an area where you would like to get things as right as possible. In the second portion of the show, we'll learn more from Dr. Stewart Bauck of Neogen, as well as how Igenity testing can reveal facts on carcass merit.
Igenity also measures marbling, average daily gain, and tenderness, as these traits will make the feeder calves you sell worth more money. Marbling scores relate to the marbling potential in the primal cuts of a fed animal. This score gives us an idea of how much of that marbling potential this heifer will give to her calves, or the heifer has herself if you decide to send her to the feedlot. Every 1 point of Igenity score is worth about 17 points of marbling, meaning it increases the likelihood of her calf grading choice about 7% greater. With the choice select spread at $15 a hundred, a choice carcass is worth over $100 per head more than a select one. If you use DNA testing to improve marbling in your herd and you sell calves, the feedlots you sell will recognize the value of the good reputation of your calves. Tenderness also adds to the value of the carcass of your calves. If you sell your feeder calves right, a good calf can bring an extra 5 cents per pound. This easily adds another $25 to $30 per head to your check. Average daily gain is the fifth trait that is measured by the Igenity Heifer Selection Program. This is important while the heifer's calf is still at her side in the pasture, and even more important when that calf gets to the feedlot. Assume one calf will outgain another by, say, 3/10 of a pound a day. In 270 days, that is 80 more pounds when you sell the calf. In recent times, those 80 pounds has been worth about $100 per calf.
My name is Stewart Bauck. I'm with the GeneSeek division of Neogen Corporation, headquartered in Lincoln, Nebraska. Our business is to provide DNA testing or genomic services to all livestock species, but particularly for the beef and dairy cattle sectors. One of our core businesses and one of a major focus for this technology is in the seed stock segment. Each of the major beef breed associations in North America, Angus, Hereford, Simmental, Limousin, etc., have worked with researchers over the past 8 to 10 years and have developed what is referred to as a genomic enhanced EPD. So what you do is you take a hair sample or an ear tag, a tissue with an ear tag, or a blood sample from a young animal. You do a genomic profile on that, and it provides information about the genetic merit of that animal. The information provided from the DNA sample is then used by the breed association to incorporate directly into the EPD to create what's referred to as a genomic enhanced EPD. Well, what's the benefit of a genomic enhanced EPD? What it does is it provides an estimate of genetic merit with an accuracy equal to growing that bull up, breeding into some heifers, calving those heifers out, growing their calves, putting them in the feedlot, and gathering the information at slaughter. So it's the equivalent of a progeny test. So we can get, in a day-old calf, information on the genetic merit of that animal equivalent to a progeny test from up to 8 to 10 of that sire's progeny. So it's an extremely powerful way to get early insight into the genetic merit of seed stock. Today, for most of the major breed associations, virtually all of the progressive breeders all of the progressive producers in each of those breeds are using that technology for genomic enhanced EPD. Why? Well, you know, the commercial producer that buys a bull needs to have some assurance that that animal will provide what he's looking for in his commercial operation. And doing a genomic profile gives you an EPD with high accuracy and assurance that that bull will do what you tell him he will.
Our operation is called Nunley Brothers, and we're in South Texas. We're around Sabinal here is our headquarters, the Coyote Ranch. We have full-blood Santa Gertrudis. We cross Hereford bulls on them and Angus bulls and market those heifers and steers on Superior. The greatest thing about DNA initially was that we could pull the hair samples, send them into the lab, and get results 10 to 14 days and know what we're dealing with. What attracted us to the Igenity profile was that the markers that they found. There's a lot of markers. We began with the marbling and tenderness, and then they've started to include maternal calving ease, and stability now is when we look at and weigh heavily. For replacement heifers, it's all about fertility and the ability to raise a calf. That's what our business is all about. The Igenity profile has allowed us to see the unseen in these animals. These are things that you can't see otherwise. And this technology allows you to make choices based on very important criteria. We are hoping that more buyers will recognize the benefits from the animals they're buying from us, because we have been very serious for quite a few years about improving our animal with the Igenity process.
We've talked a lot about the seed stock side of the equation, but you know, there's another tool that is out there which is really focused on the commercial producer, and that is what we refer to as the Igenity replacement heifer profile. And what that is it's a low-cost, very effective tool that the commercial producer uses to identify superior replacement females that meet his breeding objectives. It's a very simple product. It's about $20, and it covers 5 key traits. 2 of them, maternal calving ease and stability, related to female performance and production in the herd. The others, average daily gain and marbling, that are related to carcass composition, calf weaning weight, and performance in the feedlot. And the final trait is tenderness, which is an industry issue of beef quality. So those that profile is simple to do. Hair pulled from the tail, and Bob's your uncle. You know, away you go. Send it in. Just remember, you need to send it in about a month in advance of the time that you want the information. So don't wait until a week before sale day and send it in. Seed stock producers want to use this tool because it saves them time and money. I can get the information at 1 day of age, or I can wait until the bull's 3 years of age. For the commercial producer, it's a way for him to be able to get assurance that the animal that I'm going to buy will meet my long-term herd goals. You know, there's nothing worse than buying a bull. He doesn't meet expectations, and by the time you find that out, he's got 3 calf crops on the ground. And that's something that, you know, no commercial cattleman really wants to have to put up with.
To start realizing the benefits of genomic enhanced EPDs, simply contact Igenity to get hair sample collection kits, or to use tissue tags that employ an ear tag system. But using tail hair is really pretty simple. All you need to do is use pliers to make it easier to pull a dozen or so strands of hair from the tail switch, but make sure that the hair follicles are still attached. Igenity also has a couple other partners that work the cattle business. The guys over at Animal Health International are very helpful, and there are a lot of them in our area. Also, if you consider selling your cattle through the Superior Livestock Auction Program, Those guys are also partners with the Igenity people, and they too can be a big help. Simply contact Igenity to order your sample kits or for more information. Thanks for your time.
Thanks to Neogen, Dr. Stewart Bauck, and Ty McClary for the good program they brought us on Igenity genetic testing. Take time to look into how DNA-based technology can work for you. It's a fascinating science that's bringing solution to ranchers nationwide. Thanks to all of you for watching today. We hope you enjoyed the program. To find out more about us, visit our website, theamericanrancher.com, or check us out on Facebook. I'm Pam Minnick. For our entire team, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.